So before we get started and I do the actual review, just to be clear, I'm not going to be doing a review on the Combiner Wars animated series by Machinima. No, this is going to be the IDW Comics event, Combiner Wars, which the Machinima series is loosely based off of. So, no, just so we're clear, this is the IDW comic, not the animated series. Okay, we good? Alright, we're good. So, let's talk about Transformers Combiner Wars. Now, Combiner Wars was an interesting comic in that it was a comic that felt like a fresh start. Like, I wouldn't say, well, fresh start's a little too strong, but like, it's a good jumping on point for Transformer readers. It's exciting, it gives you pretty much a background. In fact, like, the opening moments that gives you the recap of everything that led up to Combiner Wars, you can almost hear the old Transformers and that, like, 80s Transformers, like, last time on the Transformers. Yeah, you can almost hear that guy's voice in this series, like, in the beginning. So, for a recap, the war between Autobots and Decepticons have ended. It's officially done. We are still coming out of the Dark Cybertron story arc. And in it, Starscream has been declared the Chosen One by a Titan, and he is now the leader of the Cybertronian race, of both sides. And Optimus and Windblade are assisting him, and as well as they found one of the 13 lost colonies that Windblade is from, called Caminus. And Caminus is, like I said, one of the 13 lost colonies of Cybertron that left long before the war started. And of course, Starscream, being Starscream, thinks this is going to be the start of an empire. And how he does this is with combiners, and especially this machine called the Enigma Configuration, which can create new combiners. Now, there have already been combiners before, but Starscream plans to make a lot more, a shit ton more, for the empire he wants to create. And yeah, Starscream is now, like, working with the Autobots and all that, but it's still Starscream, guys. Are you surprised? Are you surprised that, Starscream's being, well, Starscream? So yeah, that's kind of the general story, is that, our first one, and he wants Starscream wants Caminus on his side, so he gets Swindle to trick the Stunticons to become Menasor and attack Caminus, so he can use Superion to attack Menasor, and from there, he can move on from there. He can move on with more to do from there. So, I like this story in that it deals with the fallout of a 1,000-year war. This war has been raging on for so goddamn long. It's been a long-standing war that has been, that has taken lives, it's destroyed lives. So much has happened since then. I mean, also in this story is that this was the start of Megatron being an Autobot. It's a huge thing. Great storyline, by the way, the Megatron becoming Autobot thing. I really like it. I really like what they've been doing with that. So, in this story, the Autobots have essentially been trying to integrate with the Decepticons, and it's not working. And they're also trying to save Caminus at the same time. And there's a lot of political debate, because a lot of people are like, it's Starscream, guys! What do you expect? So there's a lot of political debate on what Starscream is to do, even though he's the Chosen One according to a Titan. But at the same time, Starscream brings up some points where he's like, we made the wrong choices before. We're having an autocracy of sorts. So to be fair, Prime, just because you were picked to be a Prime doesn't mean you're the ruler. I'm considered the Chosen One, but maybe at the same time, what we need is like a council of sorts. So it's Starscream who kind of throws the idea out there, but even then, like, he's bullshitting until Optimus is like, yeah, totally, we need a council, right, Starscream? Yeah, totally. Fuck you, Prime. And it's nice to see that kind of dichotomy between Optimus and Starscream. You don't get to see that a lot. You usually get to see Optimus with Megatron. And it's nice to see that, yeah, Optimus, he'll acknowledge Starscream's legitimacy as ruler, but he's still like, I know what you're capable of, and I know what you're trying to do, so let me be the first to say, fuck you. But he's still not going to be like, look, I don't want this to go, Starscream does have some really good points in these matters. So it's kind of nice to see, him kind of discussing these kind of debates as well. The artwork in here is really good. It does kind of go from, you know, this cold, kind of metallic look most of the time, but also it has these manga-esque feels, which actually kind of fit in a weird way. Like, this kind of weird manga thing, yeah, I kind of dig that kind of artwork. It kind of fits, but honestly, I kind of dig more of the rustic look to it, because it's supposed to be, yeah, Cybertron and Caminus are kind of in the fucked world right now. Speaking of also really great story arcs, I really dig what they do with Prowl in here. Now, for those who are unaware of what goes on with what happens with Prowl in the IDW Transformers universe, Prowl is now the head of Devastator. And he and the Combaticons have been around Earth's orbit, and when he finds out that Starscream is, you know, has a combiner and has a lot of legitimacy, and it looks like he thinks Optimus is just like gonna let him capitulate to do this, he's like, nah, fuck that, son. So what does he do? He kind of wrecks shit as Devastator, and in turn helps create Defensor. That happens. So that's what I like what they do with Prowl, is that Prowl is definitely dealing with PTSD. He's definitely dealing with, you know, he's been betrayed so many times throughout the IDW Transformers series, and it's really taken a mental toll on him. It's taken this kind of heavy mental toll on his psyche, and it's very easy to see, yeah, I'm surprised this dude hasn't cracked yet. But yeah, he is cracking. The fight sequences, so I really like, and I was about to just go 160 into another thing, and I'll go into that in a minute, but I really do like where they go with Prowl in this story, and especially his dichotomy with Optimus and Starscream to an extent. So it's interesting to note that, you know, Optimus and Prowl have vastly different ways of how to deal with the Starscream situation. Optimus wants to help, like, he will acknowledge Starscream's legitimacy, but at the same time, he's not he can't really do anything by force, he can just guide him. Whereas Prowl doesn't believe guiding's going to work on Starscream, and by lesser extent, he believes that Cybertron just needs to die. So he goes with the extremes. So we're looking at both sides of the conflict in different ways on how to deal with Starscream's legitimacy as ruler. And that's a really cool way, and I really like that. There's also some really cool moments in here, like there's a little Easter egg of Starscream looking for a new body to get into. He gets his G1 body, but you get to see, like, Bayformers, which the Bayformers look, you get to see animated Starscream, you get to see Prime Starscream, and Beast Wars Starscream from the anime. So and the early comics as well, so I really dug that. The fights between the Combiners are really cool. You get to see Superion and Devastator, Menasor. I wanted to see Bruticus in here. I was really hoping to get Bruticus. And I think, if I remember right, Bruticus does show up in here at some point. Bruticus does show up at some point. But, you know, I think we got enough Combiners as it was. So, I really enjoyed this comic. I think it's a well-put-together action piece, as well as it does a lot of cool political debates with it. And it really sets up where this... And it's really where you can see in Combiner Wars, you know, this was the beginning of the end for this universe. Because if those who are unaware, yeah, Unicron is the end of the IDW Transformers universe before they reboot it again. You know, they redo it. So yeah, this was definitely like... Well, I can actually say Dark Cybertron. Yeah, Dark Cybertron was the story that was like the beginning of the end of the IDW Transformers universe. But this was another high point after Dark Cybertron. So, yeah. That's really all I had to say about this. If you are a Transformers fan, I highly recommend this. If you've been loving the IDW comics, then you already know this is a good comic. The action in here, and if you are a Starscream fan like me, then yeah, you're definitely enjoying Starscream being, you know, Starscream finally having power. Watch him abuse it. So there you go, guys. So you guys tell me in the comments below what you guys think of this review, and hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.